it and then we'll start. That you wanted to ask, please you feel free to ask that. So till now we have seen some of the things that we can do through Object Studio, how we can use business object basically for spying and passing input and output parameter for a desktop based application. We have seen very simple desktop based application like calculator or notepad. We'll be taking more advanced, like there is some Blue Prism provided desktop based application. We will go through that and try to find it out, how in advanced level we can spy the things and how we can work on any desktop based application. But the things will remain the same, that the basics, the concepts will remain always same. Today we will focus more on a web-based automation. We will see like what all options that we have as part of the web-based automation, and how we can work with Object Studio to automate any website or any web-based application.
Karan, I have one doubt.
Yeah, please.
Yesterday you were telling about that ordinal number, no? That
Right,
ordinal number, it is, for example, if one particular button is there, the
right,
button is holding some value. For example, 1, 2, 3, like that.
right,
So this
right.
ordinal number denotes for the value for the button or the position of the button.
It is basically position of the button, right? So uh, yeah, I think someone also asked like if the position will change, right? So if the position of the button will change by the developer, obviously the ordinal number will also change. So you have to go and see what ordinal number has changed, and you should use with the combination with match index, so it will also match the index value for the ordinal number that we have chosen.
Okay,
Yeah,
Karan.
yeah. Okay, then let's start with this web-based automation. We will see today how we can automate any web-based application and what all options that we have, and we will take it from there. So let's see, like I have a basic a website which is actually provided by Blue Prism, and like after completion of this course, like whatever content of the training is, we will be going through consolidation exercises. We'll see like what all we can do through whatever we have learned at part of the course end to end. So before that, there is one of the utility provided by Blue Prism just for training purpose, which is BP travel site. We will just work around this site, and there is many thing, if you see here, will be common across any website if you'll be working on. So this is a travel site where you have to log in with the username and password. So let's say the username is admin, I'm giving admin, and the password is admin, I'm giving the password, and then you have to log in. So once I log in the travel site, I first wanted to create the code for the travel that I will be doing. Let's say I click on this create code, and I wanted to travel from, let's say, Almania to somewhere Austria, and I give my travel date as 01/05/2018, and I select one way, and I select adults, children's name. We give some postal code and telephone, email, create code. Okay, the postal code is invalid. Let me see the postal code. Let me take any one of the postal code here. And right, so create code. So once I click on create code, it generate a code reference number you see here, and it also generate what is going to be total price of this travel. So this is something we have to note it down. So this is something we have to basically, this is my output, and I will be requiring this output when I'm going in and doing a search operation. Let's say if I give my search, so I can see my result. So you have an operation team basically, which get all these requests for creation of code, right? It can be, if you're working in any insurance industry, or if you're working in travel industry, generally before finalizing the agreement, you provided with a code, like this is a code where this can be, a live example. If you see, you'll provided by code, and once you accept that code, it convert into policy document, or you convert into agreement that you're going to travel or something like that. So let's say you get this kind of Excel sheet, with like people in the backend operation, they get all this Excel sheet, where they have to uh, basically fetch all this value into Blue Prism and generate the output and save it, if you have any column here, or in next sheet that you wanted to save, so the reference number and the total price that you have found out here. So we'll be seeing it anyway when we'll be doing the consolidation exercise. But before working on this site, I mean, how we can start with it, right? So first thing that what we will do, since we are going to work with an application, we will first be creating our uh, business objects, right? So you go here, you create so if you see here, like we have come to a default page where uh, of the business object studio. Now the first thing, as we will be starting with creation of application modeler. So this is where once we wanted to spy the element of the particular web page, right? So what all the element that we wanted to fetch first. So in any login page, you will have your username and you have your password, right? So first thing will be, you wanted to give some input value to your text box, which is here, and then you have to click on this label, right? So what you wanted to do, like you'll be creating your application modeler, give the whatever name you want. Now you, like yesterday we have selected window based application, today we'll be selecting browser based application because it's a browser. And there is other two option, a browser which is already running. So you have two options, like if you wanted to spy a browser which is already running, or a browser that is launched from an executable file. So executable file will be nothing but the IE executable, Internet Explorer executable file from where it will launch. So let me choose this only. And if you go next, you see that automatically you get the Internet Explorer exe file here in the path. And once you click next, so here you can provide the URL. So my URL will be, okay, let me select the URL of this site. So copy and paste it here. And keep the other thing default. Now I have created the basic structure of my application modeler. This is my application wizard, and once you click on launch, you just close this page, you see this window get launched, right? So first thing, I have created my application modeler for the page that I'm going to spy on. I have created, like I have given the path of the web page here, and I have just getting the element default element here. So now we have to first spy the element which is called as login page, right? So let me give the, but I told you, right, we have to have the parent child relationship. So first I will give a login page. So let me first launch it. So once this page get launched, right, uh, let me first identify. So this is a login page, right? So I will just identify this page. I will just deselect the blank values. Okay, so now you see you getting the tag name, the path, and the parent URL. So this is a parent URL and the path and all is there, is enabled. So once you highlight it, you are getting this reason. Okay, so this is a login page. Now there are, what I wanted to spy main is username and password, right? And the login. There are three elements in this particular page that we wanted to spy, because first we have to work on this only to at least log in into the page. So what we will be doing it, we'll be adding add child element. So here you can give the name as username, and then you click on identify. Now as soon as I click on identify, yesterday I told you, if you would have, if you just notice here, since yesterday we were working with the window based application, so as soon as I click on highlight page, it was coming in Win32 mode. I told you there are three modes. So I mean there are like Win32 mode, HTML mode, and AA mode, and there is also reason mode. But since today we are working with a web-based application, so it is coming HTML mode, right? So we can spy accordingly. So if you go and hover your mouse on this particular uh, this box, you see like it's covering the entire surface of this particular box, and then we can click on control and left click. So as soon as we do it, we get all these selected values which is returning by this particular web page. First thing, just unselect the in blank values. So whatever blank values are there, we will just unselect it. Now, okay. So now we have input, we have path, we have parent URL. So just just unselect this parent URL, because you never know if the URL gets changed sometime. Your matching will get failed. So you should never select any URL type of thing in your whenever you are trying to match. You can keep other thing as it is. There is ID and there is class name. So yeah, and then you can keep the match index also. So once you highlight it, it highlight the particular username which say that your selection is correct. So now you are sure on this, so you can say apply. Now second thing you wanted to create is password, right? So yeah, now again the same thing, you go here, you spy on this particular checkbox, control and left click. Just do the same thing, unselect everything blank values and match index and highlight it. Yeah, it's get highlighted, so this selection is also true. So click on apply. Now log in. So identify, you see it is clearly identifying the box here, so just control and left click, and then just uncheck the blank values. Yeah, yes, and then apply. So I have almost identified all my 3 element which is there on login page. Now let me go to the second page. Now I'm on the second page. Create code button, right? So let me just give a name here, create code. So this is nothing but my space. Now I have to spy on this create code path first. So let me first highlight this page. Okay, it's not highlighting, right? So you have to again just go and select. Yes. So this is fine. Now I have to add the child element. So here the first thing is create code, right? So give the name, identify. See, if you will be hovering your mouse here, sometime you will be seeing like this. So don't, I mean, always you have to select the exact position. So sometime you might select, if you see that this particular view code is coming in this square bracket, I mean this box, and you will click, so it won't give you the exact the match. It will not identify the exact element that you're looking for. So you should always close down to the value. I mean, see, it's that is how you have to spy it. So I hope you understand, like it should always close to the particular area where I'm trying to spy. So if I control and left click, I'll get the values. Yeah, and then match index. Yeah, so you could, okay, but we have to spy on create code, right? We don't have to spy on view code. So I will again change it to create code. Match index 1, highlight, yeah, and then you can apply it. So after this, again add child, not child, okay, add element. So once you click on create code, you see you are getting the from destination. So just give from destination. See, it's clearly identifying this particular box. So control and left click will give you the path. When you highlight it, it will highlight the area. Click on apply. Then we have two, then add element to destination. Identify. Yeah. So again, just deselect everything. Now here, one of the important thing is also there, like when you'll be doing this exercise, you also have to see, like, if you have any dynamic attributes or not here. Like yesterday, I have given you the idea of dynamic attributes, right? So I mean, now you are just doing it, so you won't understand, but once you have spied every element, you might get an idea like there are some of the things which are repeated, right? I mean, by just having only, let's say, just for example, but just by selecting the path, if you are identifying this particular element, then and you don't require any other of those element attributes to be checked, then maybe you can deselect other attribute and you can just have a path. Now in path that you see, uh, there's only let's say for example here, this is a path of this particular element, right? Let's say only the td value is getting changed in all these elements. It comes as td1, td2, td3, td4, like that. It keep on changing. Then you know that this is a dynamic attribute case. So what you can do, instead of creating a different element, you can just have a one element and you can pass the value dynamically here to work on it. But this is something, I mean, once you keep working on it, you get more experience and idea, then you keep on applying it. And that is the best practice actually. I mean, we should do it. So two we have identified. Now the other is departing. See, this particular example also is very good example because it gives a lot of idea here. You have drop down here, you have checkbox here, you have a box here, labels here. I mean, how to play around all this thing. So this is a good example which gives cover a lot of things. So yeah, again deselect all these blank values, match index one, highlight, yeah, apply one way. See, if I go here, it will comes like this, but we should not select this. We should select this particular area. Yeah. So now just match index one and just highlight it, highlighting this particular area. Click on apply.
Karan, I have
After
a
this,
question.
yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, how do you know what fields that we have to uncheck and which fields only we have to check? Match index and ordinal is something that we have to check for sure. But I see that you're unchecking other things. How can we be sure about that?
Okay, so the thing is, whenever you basically the whatever value which is blank, right? So whenever you spy on particular element, it will give you some values for some attribute, and some attribute it will give you blank value. But anyway, it will come as check. So first thing, obviously, you don't want any blank values, right? So first you will uncheck those value. Now, apart from this, whenever you'll be working on any web-based application, you know that the path element is the most important thing that you should always have. Then the parent URL, let's say this URL thing, right? I have selected this, but what I have told you, the best practice is not to select any URL attribute. Why? Because URL can keep on changing. If someone can tomorrow change the URL, this particular matching thing will get failed, right? So you should uncheck it. ID. ID is always kind of unique attributes, right? So you should always select ID. Then class name. So just by understanding, just by reading this, you can understand that these are basically class name, ID, path. These are basically the most unique attribute of any element. So you should always select these element. Okay. And obviously, like the input type is checkbox, right? So because let's say this particular input type can be of a text box also, right? So it is checkbox. So that is how it differentiating from one element to other element. So you should select this also. So this
So,
is
for
something by
example,
reading and doing practice you guys get experience, right? And then you will be better able to judge. But whatever I have told you just now, these are the very basic criteria to select any element.
so in case in future, instead of a checkbox, it becomes a text box after the website got upgraded or something, then we still have to go into this application modeler and actually review back, revisit and check and uncheck which is required.
Yes, exactly. I mean, see, if this is a checkbox and someone tomorrow go and make it as a text box, then obviously you should you have to go and I mean change the application modeler also, so because your element will get failed, right? And this is not your fault because I mean whatever is mentioned as a checkbox, it should not change as a text box. But if that happens, obviously if the path gets changed, because these are the basic attributes on which you are identifying. If tomorrow path will get changed, so obviously this it won't able to identify the element, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. So someone has mentioned I mean it's starting like he has experience in selenium, right? So if you see in selenium also, if you are coming from testing background in selenium also, if the path and all get changed, the action and all that they have created will won't work, right? So you have to again go and modify your code accordingly. So the same thing applies here also.
So when a process gets failed, for example, so it will clearly identify where was the issue so that we can go
Yeah,
and
yeah,
help
yeah,
them.
that exactly. So we will be coming to those things, right? I mean that is a part of exception handling. So you will know like what got failed and how you issue your process should actually not get stopped if something get failed. It should basically mark your process as an exception, and then there should be some reason for the exception. So that's how it works.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, apart from this okay, so yeah, so now adults are returning, right? Not returning adults. Let me check adults. Yeah, so I just select this. So you can see here the tag name is select, and then there is a path. I'm unselecting the parent URL. The input type is select because this is a select thing, right? The ID is adult. So these are a basic thing that you should always select. So that is how you should, and based on experience you'll understand more on it. This name, this is postal code, telephone, email. The last thing which is remaining is create code. So just identify this. Now my basic thing is, identification of the element which we will be requiring as part of the automation is complete. Now once done, we will start building our actions, right? So the first thing is, you wanted to log in into this particular application, right? So you wanted to basically launch this application first before doing that. So your first action will be nothing but launch. So launch will be same, like you'll always be using navigate stage to launch any application, either it is a desktop based application or it is a web based application. So you click here, and this is a main application wizard. So this you will be bringing here in element area. As soon as you bring it, you'll get the option here to launch. And so there is one more thing. See, once you bring the launch here, you are getting some of the input attribute here, right? The path. So you can also define the URL that you wanted to launch here. Since also you have defined in an application modeler, so it will take care from application modeler also. So there is a two-way. So you can also define it here in any variable. So I'll be telling you about environment variable later on. So an environment variable are nothing but which remain same throughout their life cycle. So let's say for URL and all, right, it will always remain same. So the best practice is always like create the URL in environment variable and assign those environment variable in these inputs. So you should never hard code the value. But for now, we can just select this like. So I have created my launch action. Now, once my site get launched, I wanted to input the value of username and password and click on login, right? So what we can do, create a new page, input username. So here, for inputting the username, we have a writer command. So because you wanted to write something, right? So input username. So here, what is the element that is we are selected? Username. So username you will select and bring it here in the element area. In the value, if you click here, you can just for now you can just hard code as admin and then okay. Now you can just link it. Input password. Or we can do one thing, maybe instead of creating different pages, at least what we can do, at least we can take care of login information in one page. So let's just rename input login page. So here we are just trying to input the username, then again I want to input password. So password, I'll just bring it here, then it will also have the password as admin. And then I have a navigate stage. I'll just bring it here, and I wanted to click on login button. So I'll bring it here. Like whenever you wanted to click on something, you'll always using the navigate stage. And here you have click center option is there. So just select the click center. Okay. You can just link these stages here. Right now my login page is ready. Now I'll go and in other page create quote. So here you go and log in, right? You click on create code. So what you'll be doing, you are going and clicking on create code. So first action will be navigate, and this is click on create code. So you're selecting the click create code element here and then click center. Now what you wanted to do, as soon as you click on create code, you wanted to now this is a select item, right? You wanted to select from the list of item. Let's say you wanted to select any of the element. Let me just take any random name like let's say Denmark. You wanted to travel from Denmark, so I'll go here. Okay, so what you have to do basically for for selecting the select item here, so we have again navigate stage. So if you bring the from destination here, so if you bring the from destination here, you will select, there is option called select item. So this action will basically used whenever you are going to select any item from the drop down. So as soon as you select the item action, you see that there are some input coming in the down boxes, right? So input text, so you have to define what value you want to select. So here I will just take the name Denmark. What is the spelling? Yeah. Denmark, it will ARHUS. AR double. Okay. Okay, so this is fine. Now after this, what you want to do, select two. So again, you will be using navigate stage, and then you'll giving select two, and then to destination here, action, select item. Then you can go and give some name. So let's say Albania. Yeah, so this is done. I have selected the item Albania. Now what I'll be doing here is once I've selected a two, I'm going and selecting the one way. I'm going and selecting and departing, right? So departing is nothing but you are going and filling some information. So it will be a writer stage. So departing date is something once you select here from the departing. So yeah, once you select this, so you get this option 01. Let's say if I select 0105 to 2018. So just yeah, So this is done, and then yeah, so I have selected a departing value, and I have provided the hard-coded value. Now this is one way how you'll be selecting this particular checkbox. So for one way, this is something you have to select the writer stage only, and you have to provide, this will be a flag value, like this is a yes or true or false. So one way you will be going and selecting the element here, and here in the value you have to select true. True, yeah. So one way you have selected, and this is the value true. So this is how you'll be selecting if you wanted to select any checkbox, like you wanted to select or unselect. So you have to just provide true or false accordingly. It will be a flag value, and this will always be in the writer stage. So I have selected the one way element and given the value true here. So this is done, and then I wanted to select adult. So this is same as from element, I mean selection. So again, for selection you have, you have navigate stage. So we just mention the name here, one way. Here this will be oh, yeah, this is adults. So I'll bring the adults here in the element and action select. So let's say if I want to select only two adults are there, and I just select OK. So adults, I just give the name here, and then after this I'll just check again the particular navigate stage, and this again I just give the name as what is the name, children, right? So children, and yeah, element select item 2. So yeah, and this name, postal code, and telephone and email, so these are same element, writer stage. We just have to fill the value here. So we'll quickly just take for writer stage here. So uh, just click on this 1 2 3 4. Yeah, so just arrange it. Yeah, so name, so name you'll be selecting from here element, and name you can select any hard coded value, let's say Karan. And after this, once you have selected name, so you can select what is the postal code. So postal code you can select just from here, and let me give any postal code from here, a valid postal code. So this is the postal code that I'm going to select. So in actual world we'll never be hard coding the value. I'm just doing it now just to first test our process, and then we will be going into actual a consolidation exercise to see from end to end how we'll be passing the values from the process and executing it. So here we'll just hard coding postal code, yeah, and after that telephone and email. Okay, so phone and email. So email value is here, and value you can give anything, john.com. So this is done. Now my all these basic elements are done. Only element which is left is to click the value, right? So for clicking, you know that you have to use navigate stage. So you'll just bring your create code element here, and here it is, action is click center. So add it. Now just link all the remaining stage that you want. Select from select to departing, one way, adults, children, name, postal code, telephone, email. Yeah. So my, like, at least the basic elements are ready. What I can do, I can go ahead and launch. I mean, first, once you create all your actions in the Objective Studio, what you have to do, you have to publish it. So once you publish it, it will be available in your Process Studio to work on it, right? So I'm going to publish it everything here. Now I'll go into my Process Studio and I'll create any process. Yeah. So now, first thing, you wanted to launch your application, right? So obviously you'll be using your action one here and you launch it. So here, once you go, okay. So the thing is, you should always, whatever I have created here, I have to save also. So I might not have saved it, so that's why it's not coming there. So once I saved it, okay, let me close this. Oh, travel is already there. So let me. So action stage is where from you'll be accessing your business objects. So you see my actions are reflecting now. The first action that you're going to create is launch. Second action, you want to log in. This is done. Now let me run my process in very slow speed. Let at least first launch my application and log in it. Let's see what happens. So it launched the application. See, it given the login ID and password, and it comes to the create code page. Now we can also build the other stage. Let's build the other stage as well. So here, what we are going to do, create code, right? Yes. So it's getting some issues happening. Let's see what's the problem is. So fail to perform step 1 in navigate stage. Select from on page create code. No child item exists with the specified text. So say that there is no child item exists with the specified text. Navigate stage, select from on page create code. Okay, now let's go here. You see that error is coming. So what you will do basically, let me go here. View action in the object studio. Now you have created, okay, select from, right? So select from stage. What you are going to do, you are selecting the particular item, and let's say that there's no item available here, right? So there must be some mismatch value here. It is happening. So let's go and
Karan, you
check
have missed
here.
on hyphen. Denmark hyphen
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
exactly. That's what. So I mean, those things you have to check. I was just giving examples. So yeah, Denmark hyphen Aarhus, and yeah. So anyway, we will be passing this value dynamically. I mean here, since we hard coding it, we are getting some problem. So yeah, now again save this. How about this one? I think here also there is some hyphen, right? Yeah, I hope this is fine. So yeah, so go to the main process studio, then again run it. Oh, sorry, let me close this first. You should always close your the application which is there and then run it. Again, then something must have happened with the spelling or something that is not taking up. So see, no child item exists with the specified text, right? So if you go here again, select to what I have selected, ALBANIA. Yeah, see, it is TIRAN. It's TIRANA. Yeah, see how fast it is. This is so it's generated the code reference number here. Uh, Again, what we have to do, we have to create an element called create code reference. So let me just do it. Okay, yeah. Now this is create a new page, new action, get output. For before that, again, what you wanted to do, let's say this was create code, this is login, and then you wanted to create child, get output. Here you are writing a child element, which is nothing but code reference. So just close this. Else, yeah. postal code. Yeah, so now we'll just identify code reference. So this is my code reference. Control and left click, found my elements, and select the blank value. Match it. So identify it, say apply, then add element. I also want to find the total price of my code, right? So let's get the total price. Yeah, so click it, highlight it, yes. So apply. So I found a code reference and total price, and I wanted to capture these elements in variable and store it. So say okay. Now I will go into my Object Studio. Yeah, in output. Now I wanted to read this value, right? So for reading any value, you have a reader stage. So writing, we have writer stage. For reading, we have reader stage. So bring the reader stage here. The value that you wanted to read is code reference, right? Now for code reference, you wanted to get the current value. So there is an option called current value. So using the get current value, you can able to get the value as a text item. And you wanted to store it, right? So let's say you just create. So I told you, right, in the starting of the training, that there is two options. Either you create any data item and then bring the data item here to store it, or you can, if you click here, it will also create a data item corresponding to the text value. So if you click here, so it's a value from the code reference, it created a text data item here for you, going to store it in this particular value. So this was basically your code reference, and then other writer stage will be reading stage will be total price. Now there is total price element here. So this is also, you wanted to get the current value of that item, and then you're going to store this value here, total value from the value from total price. So you created these two data items, click it, and then publish it. Just save it. Now again you go to your process studio. Here sometimes you don't see the action that you have created. Let me see if we are able to see it, or that is some problem in Blue Prism. You have to close the process and again open it, then you see the action that you have created. So let me just open. Yeah, see, you don't see that option, right? So probably let me close this page and open it again. Yes, get output. thing, get output, right? So now the one thing that we can do here, you see, although we have created and get output here, what we are looking actually, whatever the output that it holding in the Objective Studio, I wanted to fetch the value in my Process Studio. And because this is actually in Process Studio, you will be holding the values which you wanted to pass anywhere, right? So you wanted to get the value in the Process Studio. So what you can do here, whatever the value that you are getting out of quote reference or total price, you wanted to pass to the main process. So to pass the value, what your option that you have, you wanted to create output values. So here you can give reference number, data type text, price, yeah. Now once you come here and open this, you see once you go in output, you will see that whatever the output that you have created there, it is showing here. So just click it, reference number and price. Now when I run my process, this particular reference number value and the total price value, it will fetch in the this particular variables. So let me run my process. Yes, so my process is completed. Now if you go here and see, you got the price. So whatever price that was there, 380, and the reference number that you have generated here, 2001, you have fetched in your main process. Now this is that you have done it for one of the scenarios, right? Let's say if you have this Excel sheet, you did it for one of the scenario that you have generated it, but then you have all these different scenario for which you have to do it. You can understand if you're doing it manually, how much time it can take. Like one item can take you somewhere around at least 3 minutes, right? But once you're doing it through Blue Prism, it is like taking you fraction of seconds. Like I think it's getting completed in 2 or 3 seconds. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 item, it will say 1,000 into 3 seconds, right? I mean 3,000 second. It will like, I mean, some minutes. But if you're doing it manually, 1,000 item, it will take you some hours. So it will save you. That's how the automation, it save you a lot of time and effort using RPA. And this is how these things get work when you are working in a live scenario or live project. So you'll be getting all this type of assignment as part of web automation or desktop automation. The things will be same. The way that you use it or you work on it will be a little different, right? Application can be different. Application can be mainframe application, can be Java application, SAP application, but the basic concept will remain same. So guys, do you have any like problem or difficulty in understanding till where we have taken now? Any questions? Anil, Aruna, Hari, Lakshman, Venkatesh, Vinod. Are you guys good so far?
So, Karan, I have a question, but not on what you have taken now. It's a general question.
Mm-hmm.
If it's good, I can ask.
Go ahead, anything.
So, basically, this RPA, right? So what I understood was like, when we're doing a process, for example, creating a quote in travel website, we will record the when we're starting the process, we'll press a record button and we'll start recording every action that we're taking, and it creates its own process and then you know develop something. If we have to do this all process in Blue Prism, right? So it's a very process intensive, right? So it's we have to build everything from scratch. But maybe this is very accurate. But every process in Blue Prism is this way, or is there a record button where you record when you're starting a process, you record and everything it actually captures and redo it by itself?
So, I mean, Blue Prism don't provide you, I mean, record and play option. Okay. So here, you have to identify the element, whatever element it is, either it's a web-based element or desktop-based element. The thing is, the once you identify the element, and there is multiple ways that you have given the options to identify the element. It can be static, it can be dynamic. You can use wildcard character, your regular expression to identify any type of element. So those features are very good. It is very stable. Usually, once you build it, it never, until unless someone change something, it never get failed. So the management is like, the stability is very good.
Hmm.
And there is a reusability, right? So let's say one time you have built something, you don't have to create again and again. Let's say I've created one object here, right? So I've created a login page. So this login page, let's say there is some different scenario that I'm handling as part of the travel, create travel code, right? Any different process automation I'm doing for travel company, but I have to again log in into the same login URL. So what I'll be doing it, I'll be just going and using the same page which is already there. I won't creating from the scratch. So that's how you have to build in such a manner your object is, I mean, your objects, that it can be reused across all the process whenever you want it. So that's where it will save your time.
But I got it. I think stability is important, right? It should not
Yeah,
fluctuate.
that's the main thing. And how you basically, even sometime if there is something get failed, how you it using exception and all those things, that's very important.
Yeah, got it. Thanks. But other tools have this record button, right? Other than if not Blue Prism, is
Yeah,
there
Work
any?
Fusion has this record and play option, but if even if you, this is very Work Fusion is a free tool, so you can go and download, and even if you start playing on it, you'll feel that it's not stable. Like I mean, once you build anything, you just run it. It will sometime it will run, sometime it won't run. So there is no accuracy. You won't understand what's happening. You don't have any control on it. But here you have control on it. Like you will know like why it is failing and what is the reason of it, if I have provided something wrong, and so those things are there which make this tool very stable in market.
Because we are building everything from very specifically, right? So
Yeah, exactly. It's like very specific. So it give you all the data, like where the problem came, and how you can rectify that problem. So you'll understand that. Because in RPA, you don't want to take any wrong decision, right? Or you the main intention is, even I mean, is for automation. You don't, just for the sake of automation, you cannot pass on wrong value or any wrong data. So if anything it is not getting captured, or if there's a problem, you just mark as exception, and then it will be taken care. So even for exceptions, you go and retry it after some time, right? It's not like you just keep on sitting. So let's say sometime there is a network failure or a database failure. That time it went into exception. I was trying to launch a site and there was some network failure, and it got like my process just went into exception. Then probably you can capture the exception, and it shows that it is a system exception. Then for all the system exception which you have captured for a day, you can just go and retry it. So probably many of the cases you have, it will get passed, and there will be very little item which will there as part of exception, which has to be taken care manually.
okay, yeah. Thanks, Karan.
Yeah, no problem.
Karan, one more question.
Yeah, Aruna, tell me.
Can we, with Blue Prism, can we achieve integration with database as well, like whatever the data we are providing here with the application, if it is
Yeah,
storing in the database,
right.
that integration part.
Exactly. I mean, with the Blue Prism, let's say you have some SQL procedure that you wanted to fire and fetch some data, right? So you can create a connection with the database. You can open the connection, and then you can fire your like SQL query and fetch the data from the table as a collection. And once you have the
Okay.
collection in Blue Prism, then you can do whatever you want, right? So your answer to your
Okay.
question is yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
So, Karan, will we be taking an example of how do we connect to the SQL Server and execute those queries in the coming classes?
I will try because I will try to do that. For that, probably I have to install SQL Server Studio in my local system. I don't have as of now, but I will try to, take it. But I will definitely let you know what all steps are there. I mean, if we wanted to create a connection to database, what all steps are there and how we can do it. Definitely, I'll let you know.
Yeah, in later on sessions, if it would be great if we get the chance to look into those kind of scenarios, because like in real time,
Yeah,
mostly we will be comparing the data, whatever available in UI with the database, those kind of things, right?
right, right. And Aruna, see, the thing is, these are all already built in Blue Prism. So once you know how to do it, right, it is nothing you have to go and write something and I mean all those coding and all this thing. So once your concepts are clear, you can always take whatever actions are there just to and what all steps that you have to perform in order to achieve that. So that is very simple.
Okay, Karan.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Any other question, guys? Venkatesh, Lakshman, all you guys are all good? Hari?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I think from tomorrow what we will do now see here I just wanted to show you one thing. So here I was running my process on very low speed, right? I was controlling the speed, but when you will be running your process will be running actually it will running at very fast speed and you won't have control over the process what speed it's running. So in those cases see, so once I run my process it get failed, it is not inputting any value here. So
That's because
okay,
you have to
let
close
me,
the.
yeah, maybe let me close it.
Loading the page, it is taking time.
Okay, just let me. So my basic intention is to show you like the concept of wait stage, how we can implement the wait stage here. So what happened when you're running your process at very fast speed, as soon as it's just keep on putting the launching the particular web page and trying to input the value, it is already there on that particular page and it not able to find the input username or input password action. So in those case it get failed. So in order to see, so in order to I mean, yeah, see, fail to perform step 1 in right stage input username and page and no element match the supplier query item. So it because it's not able to find any the name because it's already there on the page. But for the same thing, if you go and run on slow speed, you're able to do that, right? So that's what how you can control basically this thing. So there is an option in the Blue Prism which is called a wait stage. So what is happening as soon as I go into the launch screen, if you go here in the launch, right? So you're trying to launch the URL from here, and then from here it's going to login page. So as soon as coming here in input username, the element is already there. Like it is coming, it is happening so fast manner that even it's not able to coming like able to identify the element, and that's why it's giving the error to you. So what we wanted to do, like we wanted to have some wait stage there where it will wait for some amount of time before coming into this input username. So for that we have an stage called wait stage. If you see here, if I just bring it here and if you just click on this, you will see that you have the same thing, the element and the condition that you wanted to define, the comparison is there, the value is there, and then there is timeout value. This is nothing but a global timeout value that you can define how much time you want to wait it. So let's say so basically the good practice is whenever you are launching like this is my action. So before after executing the launch action, I want to wait before going to login page, so I can define the wait stage here. So what I can do, like I can go here and define the wait stage. uh, Here what I can do, I can just give some uh, 10 second value, default value, and just link this stage. Now what I'm trying to do here, I'm saying that always wait. As soon as you launch the page, always wait for 10 seconds and then only start looking for the next particular item, which is nothing but input username. So this is the timeout. So I have defined the timeout value here. So after 10 seconds, it will get timeout. From here, it will go to this particular stage, and from here, it will come to end. Now, if you again run your process at high speed, it will work. So now it's waiting for some 10 seconds. See, and then it give launching the values here. So this was, we call it as static wait, like we are deliberately putting some value and asking it to wait for that amount of time. So it will always wait for that amount of time in order to launch the second action. But the main thing is you don't always want it to wait for 10 second or 15 second, because the thing is sometime it may load faster, sometime it may not load faster. So the time will be will vary. It not always be fixed when you're working in live scenarios. So in those cases, what we wanted to do is, we instead of going there and uh, just defining the static value, we define some dynamic values. How we can define the dynamic wait stage is, we'll go and see. So in the launch page here, what we can do, there is an option called, so here you see that the action that is there. So the next action after launch is what? Username, right? So what I wanted to do, I wanted to see if this exists or not exist, if the username is exist or not exist. So what I put, username condition is check exist. This is a flag type and the value is equal. So if the username exists, then only go and put the value in the username. Otherwise just wait for that username. And then there is a value of 10 second also here. So if the username will not come, it will still wait for 10 second before coming into the timeout stage. But if it found the username before 10 second, in 2 second only, if it found, it won't wait for 10 second, and it will come to the next stage. So what we can do here, you can just link the item to the end. So this is nothing but a dynamic wait that you define it. Now once you run this process from here at high speed, see, so it didn't wait for the 10 second. It just, let me close this again, show you. See, so it didn't wait for 10 second. It was just check that the value exists, just go and click provide the value and work on it. So that is how you dynamically can control the wait stage whenever you are working on any web-based or desktop-based application. And we'll see more example on wait stage, how what all other options are there in wait stage and how we can control it in later session. And this is a very good option provided by Blue Prism for try to get hold of the particular actions that we have, so that my process don't get failed. So I hope the wait, at least the basic concepts are clear to you. We'll see some more example tomorrow and going forward. But I think this is the basic thing. This gets clear to you for the wait stage.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think we are good for today. I mean, just practice it more, and once you practice, you'll get more doubt, and then we'll solve it. And I think we can, just conclude the session for today, and we'll again we'll see tomorrow.
Thanks, Karan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, then. Thank you.